Okay, so welcome to the first class of Cohort 5. All of these classes are going to be recorded and they're going to be put on my YouTube channel. I'm going to drop a link to the YouTube channel in the Slack. Actually, I'll just do that now before I forget. So you're going to see a playlist that says like Cohort 5 on the YouTube channel, so you can rewatch the videos if you want. One moment, let me drop this link in the Slack, and I just dropped it in the Slack, the general channel, so y'all can follow that if y'all wanted to like rewatch the videos. And I'll post them after each class, probably like within like an hour or two after each class. Something I want to quickly go over, like the structure of like the class, and just for context, like if anybody have questions like with anything I'm saying, like please stop me, like, you know what I mean, like it doesn't have to be like a lecture thing, but yeah, just for like the structure of the class, the way it's going to go is on Sundays I'm going to be here to kind of like be here to like talk to you about what y'all already learned. So I'll give you a section to learn, and then y'all go home and learn on your own. And then on Sunday, I'm here to like sort of answer your questions and like just be the person to like just in case like the videos didn't answer your questions. Then I'll also be giving y'all assignments that's not in the actual like online course, so that y'all have like more practice and like a better chance of sort of like getting through everything. It's gonna make it challenging, obviously, because y'all gonna have to go through the actual online course plus the stuff I kind of give y'all in these classes. But by the end of this whole thing, y'all gonna see how valuable all of the work that I'm gonna give y'all is, because y'all gonna really know how to code, basically. So on Sundays, I'm gonna reiterate what y'all already learned. And on Tuesdays, y'all gonna actually go to class by yourselves. And I'm gonna give y'all an assignment for Tuesdays. I do have a teacher assistant that may or may not be there. It just depends on her schedule, but she's supposed to come in on Tuesdays to help y'all through the assignment that I'm gonna give y'all for Tuesdays. Every Tuesday, I'm gonna give y'all an assignment for y'all to complete as a class on Tuesdays. And because Tuesdays is only an hour long class, it's not going to be something that is like really difficult, but more so something to like kind of help you practice something, like some important concept. So that's how Tuesdays is going to look. So yeah, so I know I said I wanted one volunteer for the to go over the homework. I mean, two volunteers for the homework, but I actually just want one. Do we have a volunteer to just show your homework, maybe talk about like your thought process behind how you structure your HTML, and just kind of look at your CSS? Any volunteers? If not, I'll pick somebody at random.
I'll volunteer. I don't mind.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Crystal.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen.
It looks really good.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so try to come up with as close as the picture as possible. I think the only thing that I changed might have been the image, and I just did a free Google search on that image. And instead of putting, I think you had view on there, I just put JavaScript at the end. So I'll show my code.
You use Font Awesome for the icon. How'd you? Never mind, I'm jumping ahead. I'll let you. I'll
okay.
Let you go ahead.
So for
awesome.
To begin with, I think I started in HTML, of course, and to create my HTML page, I just did the exclamation and it kind of automatically created my page for me. The only thing that I had to link was the style sheet. So my style.css, which I linked it here. And I also had to link, font awesome, what you just asked about, in order to get that specific style font on my page. So I did have to link that on my HTML file. And if we keep going further down, I started with the body, and within that body, I have my first container. And within that container is like that first container is the to-do picture that you see here. So all of that is in my first container. And then I created a second container. And within that container is where I have the CSS, the HTML, and the JavaScript. And I indicated that by creating a class called container2.
Mm-hmm.
And so for all three of those sections, I just called it container2. And I did that. So once I go over into my styling, all I had to do is do one set of styling, I guess, for each one of those sections, and they all had the same exact thing. Something else I wanted to point out is within those containers, I have a form. And from my understanding, I believe that the form, you have to tell the computer what type of action will go inside that form. And for me, it's text. And then the first part of the form, I had to put the inbox, and the type was a checkbox,
Mm-hmm.
which is this little checkbox, which you can check in it actually. Oh, sorry, it's not work. And in order to add the text that you see that says HTML, I just had to put the labels.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to add that little trash can, this is what I used, the FFA trash. And in order to make it go to the far right, I've added styling within the HTML, not on my actual CSS page. I just added it here within the HTML page.
Yeah.
So that's this part. And I pretty much did the same thing over and over for each one of those sections. So it didn't take very long to do.
Right. Question, you already had experience with HTML before?
Yes.
Yeah, because yours, I was going to show the class how to do it, but yours looked way better than whatever I was going to, like, yours is more compliant. I wasn't going to use, you're using all of the tags that you're supposed to use, like label, you're using form and stuff like that. And for me, I use divs for everything. And because I just don't want to go through like all of those different tags, but okay. Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. And you even use Find Awesome, which I didn't expect anybody to use, to be honest. But yeah, that's pretty good. So what I'm gonna do, go ahead.
No, I was about to tell Crystal that hers looked really good. And thank goodness you asked if she had previous experience. I was like, I am way behind her. I was like, I'm missing something. But no, that helps. It looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I just have experience going through a class before. So, and this for me is just like, I first signed up for his Udemy courses, and I knew that this was going to be something that I needed to kind of fill in the gaps from my first experience trying to learn software development. So
did you already get through, like, out of curiosity, did you already get through JavaScript already?
I did, but that's really going to be my struggle. So yes.
Okay. All right, cool. All right. All right, yeah, we won't be going over too much HTML and CSS in the class. It's gonna be mostly JavaScript. So, you know, when we get there, you'll be challenged. But right now, you know, obviously, you aced the homework. So, good job.
Thank you. Yep. Thanks.
So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show y'all a much more watered down version of that, like something to just kind of get your mind around it a little easier, because Crystal used a lot of tags that you're supposed to use technically, but like what I'm gonna show y'all is like just an easier way to kind of look at it, and just a way for y'all to just kind of like visualize, like kind of easier visualize it in your head. So I'm gonna share my screen, and I'm going to quickly do it live. Let me One moment. Let me share screen. Okay, let me just create a new folder really quick. I'll just name this homework example. Open this up in VS Code. And please, if anybody have questions, like just stop me. That's the best way. Like stop me whenever you have the question, because that's the best way for me to like give you a more accurate answer. So I literally just opened up a new file in the on my desktop. It's going to create that. I'm going to create that the HTML file, and just for like curiosity, like this is called index.html for a reason. I'm not sure if I said it in the course, but this is the standard name for an HTML file. Literally every single website on the internet has a file named index.html, like every one of them. So that this it is significant, basically. It's not just like a name. And another thing I want to point out is the reason this is an HTML file is because it has the HTML extension. Just like you have a PDF or like a doc or like an XML file, this says .html. That's how we know that this is an HTML file. And even in VS Code knows that this is an HTML file also, because if you look down here, it says HTML right here. So it knows that it's an HTML file. I'm going to create a CSS file also. And it's the same thing, .css, and then obviously VS Code know that this is a CSS file as well. And this is significant because let's say I misspelled this. I'm gonna show you a few like common mistakes or whatever. Let's say I just put like HTL or something like that. If I did that, hold on. Actually, hold on. Let me go back. Let me put that name back. If I just did like index.h, I don't know, whatever. If I didn't put HTML, whenever I go and write the auto completion, like it doesn't work. If I write div, like we don't see the pop up. And the reason we don't see the pop up is because VS Code doesn't even know what type of file this is. It thinks that it's a plain text file. So these extensions help VS Code add these suggestions here. So if you don't see them, check the extension name.
Isaiah, excuse me, I have a question.
Yeah.
Every time we do a new one, do we erase the old index.html or do we just rename our index.html?
So if you wanted to make more than one HTML file in the same folder, then I would name it something different.
Okay, so just start a new folder every time for every even practice, or should I just have a separate practice one? Like, what are your thoughts?
What I would do is I would say I would do a new folder, and I would probably name it like hold on, rename to like, I don't know, coding bootcamp or whatever, like IO coding bootcamp. And then just drop everything all the class related stuff inside of here. So you can just drop a new folder in there or whatever. And like homework 1, just put that in there. Like if you wanted to stay organized with all of the stuff on your computer, like this, I'll put that inside of there. And just start a new folder every time you want to like practice again. So that's what I would do. Obviously this is not going to be saved because I'm gonna put this. Did I put that in? I think I put it in the wrong place. Where is it? Was there another question? You're good? Okay.
No, I said thank you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. So that's what I would do just to stay organized. But oh, this is the wrong one. I open up. I think it was this one. I think. I'm gonna close this one out. Okay. All right, cool. So we got our index.html and we got our CSS file. So I have the picture right here. And when I look at I'm gonna basically show y'all how to think about structuring the HTML. And this is just like at a very like basic level. Obviously, there are certain HTML tags that are for specific things. But what I'm gonna do is use divs for everything. So when I look at this picture, I see a few boxes here. What you always want to do is look for boxes. I see like this larger box right here. And then after that, I see this box, which is inside of that larger box. So inside of this box, I see a few more boxes. This one here, so that top part, and then I see a box here for the second one. And then inside of this box, we have 3 more boxes. We got this one, and this one. That's how you should always look at HTML. Now, obviously, there's different ways to see the same thing. I could have saw these boxes different kinds of ways, but that just goes to show you that there's more than one way to do the exact same thing. There's literally a bunch of different ways to do the exact same thing with coding. And that's going to be like a recurring theme throughout like the whole class. Like if it works, it works, you know. But as we get closer and closer to the end, you're going to start to realize that there's certain ways to structure HTML is more efficient for like the stuff that we're going to do later on in the class. The way I'm going to show y'all is always like the most efficient way to write your HTML so that you get used to like how I'm writing the HTML. So when we see it later on in your head, you're going to process it like how I process it, which is normally the most efficient way for the most part. But either way, we have this outer div right here. I'm going to translate that to code. So that section, anytime you see a box, you should always think of a div. Always think of a div every single time you see a box. So this is that very outer box that we saw. And I'm gonna get this ID of, I'm just gonna say let me just say to do, I'm just say container, because honestly, container is very standard. Like for like an outer div name, container is always like the standard for that. And then inside of that, I see another box or another div or divider, which is this right here. So inside a container, I'll write another div. And I'll just name this to do, I'll just say to do container. Something I want to point out is the way I wrote this right here. I didn't write to do space container. I wrote to do container altogether. This is called, the way you write this is called camel case. So this is called camel case. The style writing camel case is the first word, then the second one has a capital letter, and then you start writing the second one there. I'm not sure if this was in the videos yet. I'm not sure if I went over this later on, but this is called camel case. And this is how we always want to write our stuff in code. The other thing we always want to write is lowercase letters here. The only time I wrote a capital is when I wrote another letter. You always want to write lowercase letters because capital letters mean something in coding. And I'm not going to go over that right now. We're going to see that later on. But lowercase is like, it's what everything is written in except for capital. But when we get to capital, like I said, capital letters mean a specific thing in coding. So let me see, is there a question in it? Okay. All right, cool. So another thing, this is a comment. This was in the course. Don't ever remember like how you have to actually write it, because you can use VS Code to write it for you. Literally what I did was just write what I wanted to comment. Then I pressed Command / on Macs. I think on Windows it's Control / and it writes these things for you. This makes it into a comment, and comments are ignored from the browser. It's just there for you to write notes, basically. And if I'm moving too fast, again, please stop me, because I will brush through this without like stopping if nobody stopped me. But yeah, so that's that inner container right there. So I'm gonna go back here. We just wrote this container. So now I'm gonna do these two. So this one here and this one right here. Those two go inside of here. So I'm create another div, and I'm gonna put another div under this one. And just to show y'all some shortcuts, right? If I have my mouse right here, like my cursor right here, and I press Command C to copy, or Control C on Windows, and then Command V to paste, it pastes it right underneath it. So I don't have to write another line and write div and have VS Code do it for me. This is just a shortcut. So you copy it and then paste it, and it pastes right there under it. So that's a shortcut. But these represent those two boxes that we just saw on the image. This top one, I'm going to give this an ID of to do input, because this is where we like input the actual to do. So I'll say ID to do input. And this section, I'm going to name this to do items, or to do list, actually, because this is the list of to dos. So let's say to do list, right? So inside of to do list, we have a few more boxes. We got 3, 1, 2, and then 3. So I'm going to create 3 more divs inside of that. So I got a div here, and actually let me, I'm gonna create one really quick, because I'm gonna copy it down. I'm gonna give these all class names, because I want these all to all have the exact same styles. And I'll name this to do item, because these are the to do items, and there's 3 of them. Y'all can start to see how those shortcuts come into play. Like, you want to learn those shortcuts. I mean, you don't have to, but it helps to just write code really fast, and yeah, it just helps overall. But either way, we just wrote these 3, 1, 2, and 3. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this up in the browser. You can do that 2 different ways. You can either click on the HTML file like I had showed in the video, or you can right click the index file and then press copy path. And bring up the browser, new window. Paste that here. And this is the HTML file. Obviously, there's nothing inside of here, because we didn't actually write anything in there. We didn't style anything. But if we open up the dev tools, could somebody speak to this? I'm not sure if I went over this in the course. Did I talk about how to open up the dev tools already? Does it ring any bells with anybody?
I didn't, I don't think so, but I see the dev tools.
Okay.
I saw dev tools. I don't remember when, but I did see the dev tool.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna just right click, and you can either right click and press inspect, or you can press F12 on your keyboard. I'm gonna just press F12, and that opens up this box right here. And this shows all of the HTML we have on this page. So we have container, we got the to-do container here, we got the to-do input, we have the to-do list, and we have the to-do items all here inside of the dev tools. And this is inside of the elements tab, by the way. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave this open actually, and I'm gonna show y'all something that I'm not sure if I showed in the course, but this is gonna help a lot. This is like a really good shortcut to do certain things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna write my CSS directly inside of the dev tools, and then I'm gonna paste it over inside of the CSS file. So So we have container right here. I'm gonna give this some styling right in the dev tools. And so the container, I'm gonna give it a height of, let's just say 200 pixels for now, just to give it something, a width of 200 pixels. And I'm gonna give it a background color of green. The benefit to writing it here is that we get to adjust it right here, and we don't have to guess how it's going to look in the browser. We can just automatically see it here. So I'm just going to put this as like 300 or something like that. Let's do 300, and actually let's do 600, and I'm going to see a height of, let's say 800, and I'm going to just copy this, and I'm literally going to put this in the CSS file. So I'll go here, and what I wanted to target was this container right here, but let me just paste in this stuff. And then I'm gonna copy this. And then from there, I could just refresh. And we don't see the CSS. Can somebody tell me why we don't see the CSS here? Even though I just put it in a CSS file.
Is it only showing the HTML part? No.
So it is, so it's you would think that it would show the CSS as well, but there's something wrong. And this is one of those common mistakes that people make.
I think we have not linked it so on the index.html.
Right, that's correct. We didn't link the files together. So we write the link tag here, and then we write the name of the file. And to be honest, this is really the path of the file. But I'm gonna go over that after I show y'all the this created. But this is the path to the CSS file. So if I refresh, we see it here. We can either write it the way we just wrote it here, or we can write // and I'll go over like what this means or whatever. But that's the exact same thing. If I refresh, we're gonna see the same thing here. I'm gonna keep it as // for now. But if I open this up, we can see that the link is here now inside of the dev tools. And what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this a step further, and I'm gonna get the exact color that this is on the screen. What I can do, I'm gonna show you a resource, and this resource is Colors. Colors is a website that you can go to get different colors, or you can get colors off of images. Except all cookies, whatever. This is a good website just to know about. So start generate here, and I'm gonna grab the photo. I'm gonna drop in the exact photo that I have. It's here. Then I can grab colors right off of here. So I'm gonna grab this color. I think that's the only one I really need. But you can grab as many colors as you want from these images. But all I need is this green one. So I'm hitting X. This is that green color right here. This is another thing I wanted to bring up. And one of those things you get from like coming to class. Colors comes in different forms. It's not just red, green, blue, orange, yellow, whatever. This is a hex color. I'm not sure if I went over this in the course, but hex colors are like very distinct colors. You can like get variations of a color. So you can see this has different shades, and each of these shades has a number associated with it, and that's called a hex color. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to use this color actually instead of using green. So instead of that, I'm going to paste in this color, and we can even see in this box that's the color right there. I think I did go over this in the course actually. But yeah, I'm gonna use that color to have the exact same color as the picture. So if I refresh that, we got the same color here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start styling this one. I want to actually see this on a page now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna target this, and I'm just gonna give this a background color of white, just so that we can we can see it on the screen. And that one is to do container. I'm gonna style that and give it a background color of white. I'm not gonna write the color white. I'm gonna use the hex value for it. The hex for white is FFF. We can either write it like that, or we can write 6Fs. It doesn't matter, 3 or 6. It's the same thing. But this is the color white in the hex value. So I gave it a color. Actually, I should have just did it over here, actually. But it already has the color. Obviously, we don't see it on the screen because it doesn't have a height and a width. Another common mistake is thinking that you're going to see something on the screen just because you gave it a background color, and you don't see it because it's not actually taking up any space on the screen. So I'm gonna give this a height of, I'm gonna do this a little bit different. I'm gonna say 80%. And we can use percentages as heights also. We don't have to use pixels. We can use pixels, we can use percentages, we can use something called M. And M is another a unit of measurement, basically. But I'm gonna say I want this to take up 80% of the height of its parent. The parent is the container. So now to-do item is taking up 80% of the height. Obviously, if I go to 100%, this is going to stretch all the way to 100% of the parent height. And now we don't even see the parent at all. We don't see any green. But I'm gonna make it 80% here. And I'm going to give it a width, and I'll give that a percent as well. I'll just say 80%. It's going to take up 80% of the width. This is just me showing you different ways to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to keep that. Now the problem, so I'm going to refresh. The problem with this is that this box right here, or however it is, this is not in the center of the container. The way we put things in like the center, the easiest way to do that is to use Flexbox. And Flexbox is a way for you to like arrange different HTML elements on the screen. I'm going to use a lot of, the way I kind of talk through this class, I'm going to use a lot of like technical language. I'm gonna say HTML, I'm gonna say the DOM, I'm gonna say like Flexbox, I'm gonna say like certain words. The reason I'm saying these is because I want y'all to get used to hearing how coders talk. Because once you get on a job, they're gonna say these specific names, and they're gonna expect you to know what they are. So so I'm using Flexbox. So in order to use Flexbox, I'm gonna use Flexbox on the container. So display flex. So this makes it a Flexbox. And Flexbox, by the way, is I think I went over it in the course. But if you literally type Flexbox, you can go to an article that tells you how to use it. It tells you how to like align different items inside of the Flexbox. There's like a whole thing on this, but I made the parent a Flexbox. That's what it is, display flex. Justify content, center. This is gonna make it center on the screen. And this centers it horizontally, as we can see. And to center it vertically, we use align items center, and that centers it vertically on the screen. So I'm gonna copy this stuff, and I'm gonna give this styling to the container here. Containers here, and I'm gonna just paste that in there. Save that, refresh. So now we're here where we have the outer container, and we have this container done, and we have this to-do container done. So now what I want to do is I'm gonna put this part on the screen. This div right here. So this div has a image inside of it. right? This is not an image tag. What this is the background image of a div. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna style this so that it has a background image inside of it. So I'm gonna copy this so I can start to style it. That's to do. Actually, let me just do it here. I don't know why I keep forgetting. I'm gonna just style it directly in here, and I'm gonna copy and paste it over on the other side. So this is to do item right here. If I hover over this, we don't even see it highlighted on the screen because it doesn't take up any space on the screen. For example, if I hover over this one, to do item, we can see that it's highlighting on the other side. It's showing you where it is on the screen. If I hover over if I go over and click on container, we can see that it's showing on the other side. But if I do to do input, we can see where it is. We can see that it's like, hold on. Why is it doing that? We can see that it's here on the screen, but it's not taking up any space. So first, I'm going to give this a height and a width. I'll give it a height of, I'm going to give it a % also. This looked like it probably took up, I'm just going to give it like a height of 10%. Height of, I'll do 20% actually, a height of 20%. And I'm going to give it a width of 100% so that it takes up 100% of the screen. The container, why is it? Okay, so here it is here. I think the dev tools is a little glitchy. Let me open it back up. Sometimes it'd be messing up. All right, so this here. All right. Let me give this a height. 20%. All right, I'm just gonna give it a height. I'm not even gonna give it a width. The reason I'm not giving it a width is because it automatically takes up 100% of the width. And I don't want to overload y'all too much, but divs automatically take up 100% of the width. Divs do that, paragraphs do it. I'm not sure if I went over it, but either way, it's fine. I'm just gonna give it a height for now. And I'm also going to give this a background image. And when you do background image, you use the URL value here. And whatever you put inside of this parentheses is what goes inside of the background image. So I'm going to look for an image online. I'll just say writing on paper. Just search that and pull up images. I'm just going to pick this one. I'm going to right click it, press copy image, and then I'll paste that directly in here. And that brought in that image. You can see it right there. So we have the height. I'm actually going to make this 30% height. So I'm going to copy this stuff. Copy, and I'm going to paste. And I'm going to target the to-do list here. And I'm going to paste all of that. To-do, actually, let me paste it first. Okay. Something I want to point out so what I was about to do was write to-do list like this. Something I want to do is point out that this is a common mistake, what I just did. You never, ever, ever want to write out what you're trying to target. You always want to copy and paste, The reason you want to copy and paste is because I might misspell this. I might say to-do lit. And then when I refresh on this side, I'm wondering like, why is it not showing? I put the CSS in here, but it's not showing on the other side. And the reason is because I misspelled it. Y'all won't believe like how common it is to misspell things. Like that happens a lot. So you always want to copy the tag and paste in what you're trying to target. Always want to do that. Don't ever write it out. Please don't ever write it out. So that's that. Something I want to point out also, and please stop me if I'm going too fast because I know I'm pushing through this. Something I want to show y'all is that if I zoom in here, let me zoom in. Not that. If I zoom in, we can see on the very edge of this picture that it's starting to the picture is starting to like repeat itself. And to give you a better idea of how that looks, let me adjust the height. Actually, let me what's the height? Let me adjust see. I'm going to adjust the width of this so y'all can see it. See, that image is like repeating itself. Let me zoom back out to 100%. It's starting to repeat itself here. This is something I went over in the course. When you see this like this, it's because what it's trying to do is fit. It wants to fit the image inside of the whole. Let me refresh this real quick. One moment. I'm back. So yeah, so this basically if I hover over to-do list, yeah, to-do, which one did I? This was supposed to be to-do input. I gave it the wrong one. This is supposed to be this one here. To-do input. That was the wrong one. Right. If I hover over to-do input, we can see how much space it takes up on the screen. Basically, this image is trying to take up the entire space of this box. And the only way for it to take up the whole space of it is for it to like start to repeat the image. That's what it does by default. For us to get rid of that repeating image, we have to do a CSS rule, background repeat, no repeat. And we can see that that little slice went away because it's not repeating anymore. So background repeat, no repeat. I'm going to give y'all all the code also that I'm writing here. Just so y'all won't have to like remember it all. So background repeat, no repeat. And we can also see that since it's not repeating, it has that little white area right there. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say background, what was it? I think it's background size. And then you can put cover, background size cover. And that makes sure that it covers the entire thing. So if I uncheck that, we can see that white space is there. But if I put it back, it covers the whole thing. It basically increases the size of the image so that it can fill up the entire space of the image. Something that I want to point out is that all of these little adjustments that I'm making in CSS is stuff that like you would have you had to have come across before. Like somebody probably had to show you it, or maybe you was trying to figure something out online. There's a lot of these little small adjustments with CSS that you only learn from experience. So me writing this stuff is because I've done this like a million times before. Like I ran into these issues before, and I looked it up online. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong, and then somebody showed it to me, like online, basically. So that's where all of this stuff comes from. So I'm gonna paste in these two things really quick in the code so that we have that there. That's here. I'm gonna refresh the page. So this is where we at right now. So here, to-do list, since to-do input took up 30%, I'm gonna take up the rest of it with to-do list. So I'm gonna put to-do list for a height of 70%. One moment. I'm bad, my bad. So this took up 30%. I'm gonna make this take up 70% so that we take up the full height of the parent. So to-do list, I'm gonna just do it here in the CSS, so I won't do the whole back and forth. I'm gonna just say height of 70% so that it takes up, so 70% here, 30% here, that's 100%. And it's automatically gonna take up the whole width because it's a div. So I refresh. To-do list is here. It takes up that space at the bottom, and to-do input is up top. So we can see a separation right there. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is, so we basically put this box there, and we put this box there. Now I want to put these 3 boxes, this one, and the last one here. With these, I'm just going to create one, and then I'm just going to copy and paste it down because it's the exact same box as the other ones. They're all the same. So I'm just going to create one and copy and paste it down. So inside of this, we have a few things. We have an input box. We have this CSS right here, and we also have this trash can icon. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm actually going to say that I see 2 more boxes inside of here. And this is because I want to structure this a specific kind of way. So I have this box here. So inside of this box, I have 2 more. I have this box right here because these 2 things are together. This is just me like trying to visualize it. And I have this box right here. So we have 2 boxes inside of that one big box. So I'm gonna go to the HTML. I'm just going to delete these other 2 because I'm just going to write one of them and just copy it down. So inside a list item, and list item is this big box right here. I'm going to put 2 more boxes inside of that. I'm going to say this one, and this one, I'm going to give this a class of, let's say left side, and the other one I'm going to give a class name of right side. So one is on the left and one is on the right. These are not the best. These are not as descriptive as I should make them, but y'all kind of get the point. Left side is this one here, and right side is this box right here. And I gave those class names because I know that I'm going to copy and paste this down, and we can't have IDs here. They all have to be classes because it's more than one of them. That's why I'm giving them class names. So we have left side and we have right side. On the left side, we have a checkbox. So we have an input. The type is checkbox. And we have some text. We have the text, I'm gonna just put a span. I'm gonna just write CSS here. And the right-hand side, we have a trash can icon. Instead of using Font Awesome, which is the best way to do it, I'm just gonna do a shortcut. And I'm gonna create an image tag here. I'm gonna save this real quick just so that we can see where we are. And I'm gonna refresh this. We have the checkbox. We have the checkbox here. We have the CSS as a span text, and we have the right side. We have the image right here. So what I have to do now is arrange these. We can see that this one, the right side is above the left side is above the right side. And that's because these are divs. Divs literally take up the whole width or whatever, but we have to put these next to each other. And that's where Flexbox comes into play again. So we go to the parent, we do display flex, and then we can do, so after we do display flex, we can see that they're right next to each other now. This is right next to that. That's what Flexbox does. It makes all of the things stack up right next to each other. That's one of the things that comes with it.
Can you redo that for me, please?
Yeah. So if I uncheck that, that means that it's not there. So we have these on top of each other like this. The reason they're on top of each other is because every time you write a div, it takes up the whole width. It wants to be on its own line. It don't want to be on the same line as everything else. It want to be on its own line. We can see that these are on different lines. And by the way, I'm going to have a whole class on Flexbox, by the way. Like, this is just like an overview, but I'm going to like dig deep into Flexbox so that we can like really understand what's going on. But these are on its own lines. Mm-hmm. The moment I make the parent display flex, or I'm going to turn it into a flex box. Now these two things are right next to each other. We don't really see this because we don't have nothing there. Let me just write some text in here. Let me just write hey or something like that. Refresh. I'm gonna make this display. Hold on. Let me refresh this. Display flex. Now we can see that those two things are next to each other. We can physically see it on the screen. They're next to each other. Because I made this a flex box. That's why it's like that. Now Flexbox also has something where you can like space. You can so from this picture, these two things are on different sides. They're completely away from each other. Flexbox has a way for you to separate these two boxes, and that's why I put these into two boxes to begin with, because I know Flexbox can separate those two things. So to do that, I have to do justify content, and then justify content. What was it? Space between. That's one of the things that we can use in Flexbox. And now we can see that this thing is all the way on the left-hand side, and that's all the way on the right-hand side. That's how we separate things with Flexbox. And now y'all can start to see like why Flexbox is even significant, because it literally helps you organize things on the screen. So I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna give this to, and actually I'm gonna do one more thing. These things are like really squished up against the edges. So I'm gonna give this, and to show you, I'm gonna give it a border first. Border 1 pixel solid black. So we can see that this is a border right here. So what I want to do is I want to give this some spacing around. So I'm going to give it some padding. I'm just going to say 1 pixel. I'm going to keep adjusting it until it looks okay. So I'll just say like 30 pixels for padding, so that it looks okay. It looks good on the screen, basically. I just put the border there so we can physically see like what's going on. I'm not going to add this to the CSS, but I'm gonna copy all of this, and I'm gonna give this to do item, the class of to do item. So paste all of that stuff. Let me get rid of this border, and I want to give that to do item. So I'm gonna copy this, and classes are targeted with the dot. So I'm gonna save that and go back here and refresh it, and we can see it looks the same. I just removed the border because we don't need the border there. Let me see. Actually, we do need a border. I'll put the border back. I'll just leave it black. Border 1 pixel solid black. And this is one of those CSS things that has 3 different values. I could have separated this, to be honest. I could have did border color black, and then border width 1 pixel, and then border color black. I could have did this. I'm gonna comment this out so that I could have did this thing. And if I refresh, why is it not? Border color, border width.
Border type.
Border type, right. Border type, I did border color. Thank you. Border type, solid. What's wrong? Here. Border style, solid. Okay. I could have did that, or I can just do it all on one line, which is what I did right here. So I'm gonna just put this back, and I'm gonna comment all of these out, and I'll just use this one line. But I'm gonna keep this here just so y'all can have it in your notes. It's the exact same thing. So that's the to do item. And let me see something. Yeah. So now we just got to put a trash can right here. I'm just gonna do it the easy way and just get an image online. trash can icon. I'm gonna try this one. Images. Sometimes you have to try some of these because some of these images may not work. So I'm gonna try this one, copy image address. And I'm going to paste that in here. So that's that one. Save that, go back and refresh. We have a really, really big trash can here. Now we just gotta we gotta style it a little bit. I'm gonna just give it a height. Oh, let me get rid of this text. Hey, awesome. I'm gonna give it a height so that it fits in there. Height, just be 20 pixels. So anything, so the image tags, I'm gonna copy this and I'll paste that in here. Height, 20 pixels. Refresh, and it's the same. So this is, oh wait, we have to do one more thing, the actual text and stuff right here. So we're almost there. We just gotta do this part right here, all of this stuff. And this one has two things in it. It has a heading tag right here, which is a H1. And we have an input box right here. And I'm gonna try to style it so that it looks almost exactly like this. So in HTML, that is inside of to do input. So we have a heading. I'm just gonna give it H1 to do. And then we have an input box, input type text. So I'm gonna refresh, and it looks kind of weird right now, but I'm about to make this look better. So one thing I want to point out is that we can see that it's some white space right here now. The reason there's some, can somebody tell me why there's white space right here before I tell y'all the answer? Like, just take like a guess at why that's there.
I'm thinking CSS has a default behavior for.
Right, exactly. So it's the default behavior for the CSS of a heading tag. So if I go to the heading tag, where is it? That's inside to do input. If I hover over this, we can see that this one takes up more space than we see that it takes up. And this is from the box model, by the way. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm gonna scroll down in here. This is the box model, by the way. This is how much space things take up on the screen. This inner thing is how much the text took up. This is the padding. It has no padding. It has no border here, but it does have margin. And the reason it pushed that white space there is because it has margin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to style this so that it has no margin. So I'm going to say margin 0, and that got rid of the margin from all around the whole thing. I'm actually going to give this a margin bottom just so that we can push the input box away from it. So I'll say, just say like 10 pixels. So I got rid of all of the margin with this one, and this one, because I put it underneath the other one, it adds 10 margin to the bottom. So if I go back down here, we can see that there's 10 margin at the bottom here. And the reason I said underneath is actually, I'm not even gonna, I'm gonna just paste it in like this. I'm gonna throw too much stuff. So what is that? Input box, oh, that's the H1. So H1s, I'll give it this styling right here. I'm gonna refresh, and it looks exactly the same. Perfect. Another thing I want to do is I want to put some padding around it. We can see that this is this space that it takes up, but it has like some padding here. So I'm gonna create that with the parent. The parent is here, the to do input. So I'm gonna give it some padding so that, you know, it has some padding in there, and give it a padding of like 18 pixels or something like that. Actually, let me see. I'm gonna give it a little bit more. I'll give it a padding of 36 pixels. And I'll actually just adjust the height also. I'm going to adjust the height to be like 14%, just so that it looks better. So I'm going to get as a padding of 36. And I'm going to change the height to 14%. And that obviously means I have to change the height of this one to, what was it, 86% to make up the whole 100. So I'm gonna refresh this and it looks the same. Cool. Now I have to give this a color white. So that has the same color now. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. All right, so now that has a color white. We're about to take a break in a little bit also. I try to take it at 11, but I just want to finish this up real quick. That has a color white. The other thing is this input box look a little bit different than the one we have. The one we have is like, it has some styling in it that we just got to change. So I'm going to change the styling up a little bit. And it also has some placeholder text. It says enter text right here. First, I'm gonna put the placeholder text in there. Placeholder says enter text. And just to show you what that looks like, I'm gonna go here and refresh. It says enter text now. That's the placeholder text. Now I'm gonna start to style this so that it looks like it looks on the other screen. So I'm gonna take a few guesses I'm gonna guess that it has some kind of background color. I'm thinking it has background color, and I'm just gonna make it transparent. So now it's see-through. Background color transparent, and we can also see that it has like some borders right here. I'm just gonna say border none. That remove the borders there, and now I'm going to give it a border bottom of 1 pixel solid white. So now it has a border bottom, just the bottom border right there. And that's how we got that underline right there. And obviously if we was to do top, you know, it would be at the top. See, and you can do right and left also. I'm just showing you for demonstration purposes. That's the right border, and the left border is here, left border. But I'm just going to do border bottom. And the other thing we notice is that this takes up the full width of this. It take up this whole thing right here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give it a width of 100%. So it takes up the full width of the parent width, but the parent has padding, so it's not gonna stretch all the way across. But either way, this is how you style that input box to make it look like the picture. I'm gonna copy and paste this over to here. I'll just do like input. I was supposed to copy and paste this. Copy this tag and paste it over here, but y'all get the point. I'm gonna refresh this and we're here. So this is basically the homework, and as close to it as, well, wait, what happened? Something just happened. Why does that look like that? Oh, okay. I see what happened.
Checklist is the inputs.
Right. Yeah. The input. So this is the input also, and since I'm taking up 100% of the width here, like this input and this input is getting the exact same styles. So what I'm gonna do, instead of doing input, I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna give this an ID. So I can just target this one thing. And do this an ID. ID of input box. Let's keep it simple. And hashtag input box. Input box. Refresh, and then we're back. Obviously, I can tweak this a little bit more to make it look more like the picture, but this is basically the gist of it and like the point of it. This was the homework, and yeah, I'm gonna give y'all all the code for this. Any questions before we go on break?
None for me.
All right, cool. So we'll go on break and we'll come back at 11:25. We'll start back at 11:25. Okay. I'm gonna go on break also. So I'll be back a little bit before that for any questions. All right. I'll see you all at 11:25. Okay, we'll start in like a minute. All right, cool. So we will get started really quick. All right, so just for context, like today was like for me to go over this whole homework thing or whatever. This is like not something that we're gonna do during class. Like we're not going over like homeworks anymore during class. This was just like for me to show y'all just how to do it or whatever. What we're mostly going to be doing is just like having one of y'all kind of talk about the homework or whatever y'all already had done on your own. But this is just a first class, so yeah, I'm holding my
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think he's gonna stay quiet, do the whole thing. We'll see. But
I don't think he's gonna stay quiet.
I just fed him, so he should be good. All right, cool. So that's this. Any questions on this before I move on to the next thing?
Nope.
All right, cool. So what I'm going to start teaching now is something that I didn't teach in the actual course, and I'm going to teach basically the terminal. And the terminal, the reason I'm teaching y'all the terminal is because when y'all get jobs, they're going to expect y'all to know. They're going to expect y'all to know the terminal. They're going to say it's important also because also when we have code, you see how we have it on our computer right here, like it's physically on like the desktop. On the job, it's not always on like a computer, like something that you can see. Sometimes it's on like a server somewhere, and servers are computers basically, except for you can't. Yeah, he was right. He's right. All right, you should be good with that. Servers are basically computers, but you can't see like what's on them. The only way you can see what's on the computer from a server is through the command line. And I'm about to show y'all how to use the command line. So this is something I don't want y'all to like write down. You know, I kind of want y'all to just like watch because it's going to look confusing, but I want y'all to pay attention to it and just rewatch the video afterwards. And for everybody that's on Windows, by the way, what I'm about to type in doesn't work on Windows, but y'all gonna have to download something called Git Bash. And with Git Bash, you can use the same commands that I'm using. And this is one of the many reasons why having a Mac is actually better for coders anyway than Windows. And it's just a fact. Because Macs are pretty much built for coders, and that's something that y'all gonna start to realize, especially when y'all get jobs. The people that built these, they built them for us. But yeah, so this is the command line. This is the terminal or command line or whatever you want to call it. I'm just gonna call it terminal. The way you get here from the Mac is by going to the search button here and typing terminal. On Windows, you can see something very similar to this that's called the command line. If you go to the start menu on Windows and then type command line, or you can type CMD, you're going to see it pop up and you click on it, it's going to be a black box. And this black box is how you see things on your computer. It's actually very powerful. You can really mess your computer up on this thing, or you can like mess somebody else's computer up on it. You can really do some crazy stuff that you can't normally do with the regular like computer. This is like very powerful, the command line. But this is the command line. everything that we see on the screen, like all of this stuff that we see on the desktop, we see folders, we see files and stuff like that. All of these things are represented as just text in the command line. So, and I'm gonna show you really quick. So if I'm gonna show you what these commands do in a minute, but I just for demonstration purposes, I'm gonna go to the desktop. So the desktop has a folder called 1. We see that here, 1. We have a folder called Blakio Coding Bootcamp. We have this here, Blakio Coding Bootcamp. Desktop stuff here. We have desktop stuff. And as you can see, like I can match up all of the files and folders from what's on the actual computer to what I see here inside of the command line. Now, and stop me if y'all have questions. Like, please stop me if y'all have questions. From here, I'm going to start to tell y'all, like, I'm going to start to show y'all how to input things in here so that you do certain things. And I'm going to start from scratch. As soon as you open up the command line, you're in a folder on your computer. Can somebody, just out of curiosity, tell me what is another name for folder? Like, does anybody know another name for folder?
Directory.
Right. Exactly, directory. When we coding, when you say folder, let's just call it a directory, because that's what it is, and that's what we call it whenever we're in the command line. Directories. So the directory that I'm currently in right now, I'm gonna put a command in here, pwd. In pwd, I'm gonna put all these definitions, by the way, in the Slack channel. pwd stands for print working directory. This is how I see exactly where I am on my computer. Right now, I'm inside of the users folder on my computer, and inside of the users folder, I'm inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. And I'm gonna show you that really quick. Before I show you what this command does, I'm gonna show you that real quick. This is a folder, say Isaiah Harrison right here. Even inside of here, where is it? Yeah, so inside of this folder, I see a whole bunch of files and folders. That's where I am right now, inside of the command line, inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. So that's what pwd stands for, print working directory. It tells me exactly where I am currently inside of the command line. Now, a way for us to, hold on. So that's pwd, print working directory. A way for us to navigate to different folders through the command line, we have to use a command called a command cd. And cd stands for change directory. This is how we change directories or change folders. But before I change directories, actually, I'm gonna show you how it looks really quick. I'm gonna change directory to the desktop. I'm gonna just put desktop here. So cd space desktop. So if I press enter and I press pwd, that's print working directory, I can see that I'm on the desktop right now. So Isaiah Harrison, I'm in user, Isaiah Harrison, desktop. That's where I am right now. So if I press ls, and ls is another command that you can use. ls stands for list. This is how you list out everything that's in the current folder that you're in. So I was on the desktop and I pressed ls, and now I can see everything that's on my desktop, everything that's on the screen. So that's one thing I want to like point out that's very significant. People don't realize that what you see on your actual computer, like here, this is a folder. Windows, Macs, whatever computer you're on, anything you see on this very thing is a folder, and that folder is the desktop. That's why we call it. That's why we call it the desktop. But that's what that is, and so we learned 3. pwd stands for print working directory. cd stands for change directory, and ls stands for list. This is how we list out things. So I'm gonna clear this out really quick. And clear, it just clears the whole screen. That's all that does. So clear. So I'm actually open this back up. I'm opening back up fresh really quick, just so I can show y'all something else. So if I do pwd, That's print working directory. Here I am inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. I'm gonna press LS really quick. LS shows me all of the files and folders that's within the folder that I'm currently in, just like I just showed with the desktop. If I wanted to open up this folder, I can use the open command. So open space dot. So this is saying I want to open up something, and what I want to open up is my current location. The current location is represented with one dot. I want to open up my current location. So I'm currently inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. So open dot literally opens up the Isaiah Harrison folder on my computer. And that's why this opens up. So something that I wanted to point out is if you look at this, we can, let me put this here. It's kind of hard to get all together. Put this on one screen. All right, so everything that's inside of this folder right here is on this screen, like is within here. But something I want you to notice is that not everything that's on this screen is inside of this folder. And there's a reason for that. For example, this one has the desktop folder inside of it. You don't see the desktop folder at all inside of here. There's no desktop folder. But clearly the terminal is telling me there is a desktop folder here inside of this folder that I'm currently in. And this is one of the many things that shows you how powerful the terminal is. You can see more stuff in the terminal. Your computer by default, it hides like certain things from you so that you don't like mess your computer up, basically. They don't want you to mess your computer up. So they're gonna hide these things. So the desktop doesn't even show inside of here. The reason for it, I'm not sure why they don't show the desktop, but it's just not showing here inside of the folder. Another thing that doesn't show, let me see. LS, I'm seeing this. Oh wait, that's there. Let's see, do we have any hidden? There's always like some hidden files inside of here. So there's no hidden files here for right now. But some files are like hidden inside of these folders, but you can always see it inside of actually let me I'm sorry, I'm gonna backtrack. There's another command. So LS stands for list. So LS-A is you want to list everything. So LS-A, that lists everything that's in that folder. And we can already see right here that this folder has all of this stuff inside of it. See all this stuff that it has? And over here, we don't see half that stuff. And that's because I'm listing out all of the hidden files and folders that they don't want you to touch on your computer. But these are things that you have access to from the terminal. Anything with a dot in front of it means that it's hidden from you. You can't see the files that start with a dot. That's just by convention. I'm not sure if it's the same for Macs. I feel like for Windows. I think it's the same for Windows. But all of these files with dots in front of them, you don't see none of these things. None of these things you see within this folder here. So that's how you list out the items. So I'm gonna clear this really quick. And I'm gonna just do LS really quick. I'm gonna do actually let me go back. LS-A. If I do -A, I see desktop. Before I didn't see desktop. Now I see desktop. Because I see desktop here, that means that I can move into the desktop folder. To move into the desktop folder, the exact same way I just showed y'all before was CD. You want to change directories to the desktop, and this is cap sensitive, by the way. So I'm going to change the directories to the desktop. Now I'm on desktop. Now, what if I want to go back a folder? I just went like up a folder or whatever. If I wanted to go back to the Isaiah Harrison folder, I press CD, then I press 2 dots. So before I told you that 1 dot means your current location. 2 dots means that you want to go back. So if I press that and do PWD, print working directory, now I'm back inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. See, so now, that's how you move through folders. This is how you move back a folder, and CD into the folder is how you move into the folder. So right now, I'm gonna just do ls-a so I can show everything. I'm gonna go inside of my pictures folder really quick. I'm gonna see what's in. Actually, I'm gonna go inside of the movies folder. I don't think I have anything in there. So I'm gonna CD to movies, PWD. I can see that I'm inside of the movies folder. And now I'm gonna open up the movies folder on my desktop. This is my movies folder. I got some iMovie stuff inside of here. I could not get to this folder if I didn't come to this folder through the terminal. So that's just me showing you again why it's so important to know about the terminal. So let me go back. I'm gonna go back a directory, so I'm back inside of the Isaiah Harrison folder. Then I'm gonna go back into the desktop folder. So now I'm back on the desktop. I do a PWD, I'm on the desktop. Now, what we can also do is create files and folders within the terminal. The way you create a file is by using the make directory command. So mkdir stands for make directory. So I'm going to make a directory or a folder. I'm going to just name it test. I'm going to just put it all caps, test, just so that we can like see it really quick, test. So that just created a test folder on my desktop here. There's a test directory on my desktop. There's nothing inside of this test directory because I just created it. So now I'm going to go inside of the test directory from the terminal, and I'm going to start putting some files inside of it. So let me actually make this smaller. So I'm going to CD into test. And a shortcut I want to show y'all, I can press capital T and press the tab button and it finish it for me. It's like an auto completion. So now I'm inside of user Isaiah Harrison desktop test. So I'm inside of the test folder. Now we know how to create a folder or directory with make dir, and in space you put the name. Now I'm going to show you how to make a file. In order to make a file, you use the touch command. I'm not sure why it's called touch, but it's just called touch. I'm going to create an index.html file. You see it created it on this side. And I'm also going to create a CSS file, main.css. And that created the CSS file inside of there. What I would like y'all to do, like from now on, like I do want y'all to rewatch this video, but I want y'all to, like when y'all creating files and folders, I want y'all to use the terminal because I want y'all to get practice with it. Because it's something that they're going to really expect you to do, expect you to know. They're going to say something like, okay, they're going to say something like SSH into the terminal. I'm going to speak like programming, whatever. I'm going to say SSH into the server and CD into the user directory, and then make this file here, or like start your application from that folder. SSH means you're linking your terminal to the server. When you CD into something, it's basically telling you that to go into this folder, and it's telling you to start your application or something like that. You're going to do something inside of that folder. But knowing these things, people are going to say CD into this or CD into that. Now you know what that means. When you say CD, it means change directory, and they want you to do it. They want you to do it from the terminal. That's basically what it is. There's a lot of information I'm giving here, and obviously I didn't go over this in the actual course. So I'm definitely going to expect y'all to like rewatch this and like practice these things. And we're going to go over these commands literally almost every time we meet. Y'all are going to see me typing into the terminal because I want y'all to get used to seeing it being typed in, basically. So so that's that. So that's how you create files and folders. Now I'm going to show you how to delete files and folders. And this is actually where it starts to get dangerous. When I said you can like really mess somebody's computer up. When you delete something from the terminal, it's deleted forever. You can't, there's no recycle bin. You can't go in there and get it back. You can't like try to turn back time on your computer and get back the file or folder. If you delete it from here, it's deleted. Like it's gone forever. So when you delete stuff, make sure you actually want to delete it. So what I'm about to do is I'm about to delete the index.html file and the main.css file. I'm gonna do ls, and I can see that these files are here. So to delete a file, you use the rm command. It stands for remove. So I'm going to remove the index.html file, and that's going to delete it from there. It's gone. It's not even in my trash can. And actually, let me empty this. Let me empty this, and just for demonstration, I'm gonna create that again. Is this empty? Empty. All right, that's gone. So it's there. Now I'm going to delete it, and it's gone. There's nothing in my recycle bin. Like there's literally nothing there. You can't get it back. There's no way for you to get that file back. It's gone. And now I'm going to delete the CSS file. So main.css. It's gone. Never ever getting that back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a folder inside of here. So make dir. So make directory. I'm going to say test1. So I created this folder right there. Now I'm going to show you how to delete a folder on a computer. So to delete folder, you do remove directory. So rmdir, remove directory. And then you put the name of the folder that you want to delete. And again, that folder is deleted forever. So now I'm gonna make the folder back so I can have it there. And now I'm gonna go inside of that folder. I'm gonna cd into test1. So now I'm inside of test1. Now I'm inside of this folder from the terminal. I'm gonna create an index.html file. Oh, and by the way, when you're in the terminal, you can press the up key to see your previous commands. So I'm gonna do this, touch index.html. So I'm gonna create that. I'm gonna create a CSS file here. So if I open this up, I see the index.html and I see the main.css. I'm gonna go back out of this really quick. Now what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to delete this folder again. So remove directory, test1. If I press enter, it says, hold on, where am I? No such, oh wait, I gotta go back in directory. I'm not even in the right place. All right, it said no such file directory because I was inside of the test folder. But if I press this to delete this test1, it's telling me directory not empty. You cannot delete a folder that, you can't delete a folder that has something in it with the remove dir command. You can't do it. It has to already be empty for you to delete it. But to get around that, if I actually wanted to delete that folder and everything inside of it, I can use the rm command, remove -rf. This recursively forces a deletion of the file. That's what the rf stands for. And I'm going to write the name of the folder. I'm going to press enter. So that folder and everything inside of it is deleted. So I just literally showed y'all how to completely screw somebody's computer up. Remember I told you that the desktop is a folder? If you was to go into the terminal and delete the desktop, like I've never done it before, but I would imagine that it screws up the whole computer. Like you probably had to restart the computer, probably got to bring it back to the computer store or whatever. But it completely deletes everything. So you can literally go through somebody's computer and delete whole files, everything inside of it with the terminal. And that's why it's so dangerous to use the terminal. So before you use this remove command, make sure that you actually want to remove what you're trying to remove. So we learned how to change directories, learn how to create files, delete files, create folders, delete folders. Just because we got time left, I'm gonna show you how to move files around. So right now, I'm still inside of the test folder. I'm gonna make a, actually, I'm gonna stop right here. I don't wanna overload y'all. I'm gonna stop right here with just these commands, and we're gonna learn more as time goes on, as we need them anyway. The ones I showed y'all are commands, literally, like if a developer don't know these commands, like it doesn't really look good on them at all. Like every developer should know what these commands do. That's how like important they are. And that's why I'm showing y'all this on the first day. And that's why I'm going to continuously go through it every single class, use this every single class we have from now on, because they're going to expect you to know it. And if you don't know these commands and you go on a job interview and like they find out that you don't know these, that's going to affect how much they pay you. They're going to automatically assume that you don't know what you're doing, and they're going to have to hold your hand through everything just because you don't know what the terminal is. So this is just one of those things that's very important to just know about, if anything. So now I'm gonna give this a break. I'm gonna take a pause real quick. Do anybody have any questions? I'll take that as a no.
I think Stephanie does, but I'm not sure.
Oh, Stephanie. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see the hand. Stephanie.
Yes, with the Git Bash, once we download that, we'll be doing all of our work through that, or that'll be our version of the terminal.
Right, that'll be the version of the terminal, exactly. So the reason you're doing Git Bash is because some of the commands that I wrote in this terminal, it doesn't work on Windows. And that's the real annoying thing about it, because Windows and Macs are so different. They even have different commands, but they have Git Bash for Windows users to use, so that we can all use the exact same commands. It does the exact same thing on your computer, except for, we can use the same commands. One of the things that's different, most of these are the same on both, but one of the things that's different is that open command. I had opened a folder. On Windows, you use Explorer, and it's like how that is so like random that they even named it that, first of all, but it doesn't make sense that opens up an actual folder. But there's stuff like, there's differences like that makes the terminals different. But yeah, once you download Git Bash, you should be good. And I'm gonna add a link to download Git Bash in Slack.
I think Abraham already did that in the chat. Thank you, Abraham.
Oh, somebody did. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Abraham.
Welcome.
So one more thing I wanted to show y'all, and this is like some light stuff. I know we just went through a whole bunch of stuff here. Something I wanted to show y'all is the way the browser works. Anytime we think of the browser, like we think, okay, I'm about to go to the internet. And yes, the browser lets you go to the internet, but what it actually does is that it opens up files and folders. Like you literally can open up files and folders inside of the browser. And it's something that a lot of people don't know. If I wanted to open up this folder in the browser, I can drag this over here and then open up this folder in the browser. See, it has everything inside of here. So in here, I have a few folders: homework example, practice, homework. And I can go inside of here and click into it, and I can see exactly what's inside of that folder and what's inside of there. I can even open up pictures and videos. I should be opening. Yeah, I can open up a video inside of this. Okay, I'm Isaiah with Blakio. That's like a advertisement I was creating. But I can open up pictures. I can open up. I don't know why that's not opening up. Maybe not screenshots, but I can open up files inside of here. The reason I'm even pointing that out is because I want y'all to think of the browser as a way to open up a file. Don't think of it as just getting on the internet. Literally, when you go to the internet, any page I go to, this is pointing to somewhere on the internet. But once it gets to that place, it's literally opening up a file. Remember how I told y'all to open up the HTML file, you just double click it like this, and it opens up in a browser. This is opening up the HTML file from my computer. So users, Isaiah Harrison, desktop is inside of the Blakio folder, well, Blakio coding bootcamp folder. These 20%, percent 20, it means space. It's like the space character. So Blakio coding bootcamp. So I'm inside of that folder. I'm inside of the homework folder, the homework space example. and that is the index.html file. That is why we're able to open up the HTML file by double clicking it inside of the browser. So I wanted to leave y'all with that little bit of information, just so we can like start to rethink how the internet actually works and how the browser actually works. And this class is going to help you. This class is actually going to help you rethink how everything works, really, not just the internet. And this is one of the things I wanted to like precautions that I want to point out to you. Learning to code, and this is something that people don't really talk about as often. You hear it here and there, but not really. But learning to code, it changes you as a person. Like I'm not just saying it as like, oh, like learning this thing is going to like change your life. Like this literally is going to change you as a person. Because when you learn to code, you start to become a almost like an anal person, like somebody has very, very good attention to detail. And like you start to notice things that people don't notice. Like, and it's like it's a very small detail. And the reason for that is because we're literally writing like we're writing exact things. If I was to leave out a colon here, that breaks the whole thing. Once we start getting into JavaScript, if you delete one character, it breaks your whole file. So you start to get this very attentive to detail sort of mentality. So it changes the way you think in that way. It also changes the way you think like logically. It makes you a much more logical person. Everything in coding is like logic. Literally every single thing is logic. So the way that they can like trickle into your actual life is kind of like, it makes you a more emotionally like unavailable. And so it can affect your relationships also. And I know this sounds like really crazy, but this is the truth of coders. If you go to speak to a coder, they're very direct, they're very exact, and they don't really think about emotion. And it's because we do this on a daily basis. If you do the same thing every single day on a daily basis, if you're constantly thinking about logic and not ever thinking about anything else, you start to become a different type of person. And I saw this, I didn't notice it happened to me until somebody pointed it out to me. And then I saw a video on it. Some guy was talking about it, the psychology behind it. And it really does change you as a person. So it's just something to kind of like look out for if you really do want to go down this route. I'm not sure how many other professions kind of like change you as a person like this, but you will change as a person when you start to code or becoming a developer. It's going to become more significant when somebody pointed out to you, and you're gonna think back to the first day of class when I told y'all that you're gonna change as a person. But yeah, that's what coding does to you. What else I wanted to talk about? I think that is everything. We're pretty much at time. Anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts, anything at all?
None at the moment, but if I come up with some, I'll chat with you offline.
Cool. All right. So on go ahead. Somebody about to say something?
Oh no, I was just saying same.
All right, cool. So on
question. Please, do we have a separate channel for like interactions or the Tuesday meetings, or is just in the general chat?
I'm gonna create some more chats on Slack so that it has different like purposes, and I'll put like a description of each what each chat should be used for. So yeah, I'll create a few new like Slack channels for you to add stuff and random stuff and like general knowledge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But on Tuesdays, y'all gonna join this exact same link. It's going to be the exact same link every week. So you're gonna join us on Tuesdays, and y'all gonna have an assignment actually. And let me quick post the assignment in Slack. Y'all gonna create. Let me actually pull it up here. What is it? Color palette. Here. I think this spot looked up. What I want y'all to do as a class on Tuesday is create this where is it at? A color palette. Where is it? Where's the one I saw? It's gonna look something like this. I'm gonna drop it into the. Actually, it's gonna look more like. I don't know, just show up. It's fine. I want you to create this one here actually. I'm gonna drop this image in the Slack. Obviously, it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but I'm gonna drop a similar image to this in the Slack, and I want y'all to create like this in HTML and CSS. This is going to require y'all to use different like hex colors. It's going to require y'all to use Flexbox a little bit, and like it's going to require y'all to use like some margin, some like padding and stuff like that. This is just for y'all to like get used to like writing HTML and CSS. And I'm gonna put some more specific directions in the chat so that y'all know like exactly what to do. But this is what y'all gonna do as a class. One person is gonna share the screen, and the other people. One person gonna share the screen, and then y'all just gonna work through it as a class. And I'm gonna have the TA there as well. Let me see if she's here now. Actually, I'm not sure. No, she's not here. But the TA is Erica. She should be there to like kind of like lead y'all and like answer questions for y'all. Y'all gonna see her on Tuesdays, and she'll be there every Tuesdays to kind of help y'all through the class. And if she's not there, it's fine. Y'all can always just do it by yourselves. And the reasoning behind me even having those Tuesday classes, having y'all run it, is because I want y'all to like get used to like being self-starters, because that's what y'all gonna need when y'all in this industry. You're not gonna really have too many people to ask questions to. There will be people for you to ask questions to, but for the most part, you're working by yourself. And I need y'all to like sort of learn how to like figure things out by yourself without like anyone else. So if there's no questions, I'll let y'all go. And again, I'm going to add the details to the assignment for Tuesday in the Slack channel.
Okay. All righty.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right. See y'all Tuesday.
See
Have a good one.
Okay.